Hey everybody, welcome back to Sovereign Money. In our last video, we set up a watch-only wallet in Bitcoin Core connected to a hardware wallet. Today, we're going to put that setup into action. I'm going to show you exactly how to create, sign, and broadcast a Bitcoin transaction using this professional-grade setup. We'll cover everything from fee estimation to transaction signing, and I'll explain something called PSBTs, or partially signed Bitcoin transactions. It's an advanced setup that requires a lot of attention to detail, but I'll walk you through every step carefully so you can build this professional-grade system yourself. This video is all about taking control of your Bitcoin transactions with the precision of a surgeon. No more relying on simplified interfaces or trusted third-party fee estimates. Let's dive in and see how the pros handle Bitcoin transactions. Well, this video picks up right where the other one left off. That is, you've just finished creating a watch-only wallet with your hardware device connected to your Bitcoin Core wallet and node. And the next step is to start creating a partially signed Bitcoin transaction. So let's go ahead and jump right in to the video. Now, there's a couple things we can do at this point. In order to send the Bitcoin out of the wallet, we can use the GUI, the graphical user interface of the Bitcoin Core wallet, create a signed transaction, then sign it with our Trezor, or we can use the console and the command line. I'm going to use the console and the command line just for continuity because we've used it this far. Let's go ahead and continue with that. This should work. Similarly, it will create an unsigned transaction, and then you would send the information over to the terminal on the Mac, which we're going to do through the console, sign the transaction using your Trezor, and then bring the transaction back here and broadcast it to the network. Let's go ahead back to the console and continue making a partially signed transaction. So what is a partially signed Bitcoin transaction? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a transaction that's created in pieces. Let me show you how this works with a simple analogy. Imagine you're sending a certified letter that needs both a signature from you and your bank. First, the bank prepares all the paperwork and fills in all the details. That's what your Bitcoin Core node does. Then you review the letter, check all the details, sign the letter, and that's what your hardware wallet does. Only after those steps are complete can the letter be sent, or in this case, the transaction broadcast to the Bitcoin blockchain. Using partially signed Bitcoin transactions is a security feature. It means your hardware wallet never needs to know all the complex details about your Bitcoin node. It just needs to verify and sign all the important parts: how much you're sending, where it's going, and what fee you're paying. Speaking of fees, let's go back to the Bitcoin Core console, and I'll show you a little bit about how to estimate fees. Okay, here we are back in the Bitcoin Core console. I'm going to clear it out. Basically, you have a copy of the blockchain sitting on your desk. So all of the fees for all the transactions are registered in your node. So why can't you use the node to find out what the fees are? Well, you can. You have to use a simple command, and it is estimate smart fee followed by a number. That number represents the number of blocks you'd like the transaction to be confirmed by. So if it's 12 blocks, that's going to be several hours. If it's 6 blocks, it's going to be an hour, and etc. If it's 1 block, it should be approximately 10 minutes. As you reduce the number, the fees generally go higher. So let's try 12, and that should be about 2 hours. 2 hours confirmation time. So if you're not in a hurry, you could set your fee at this number right here. Now, what is that number? That's actually Bitcoin, the number of Bitcoin in the fee rate. You multiply this number by 100,000. That is, you move this over 5 places, and that gets you 8.022, if I'm reading that right, sats per VByte. That's the rate of the fee right now in order to be confirmed in 2 hours. But let's say you wanted to hurry up and get this transaction confirmed, and you're going to do 2 blocks. Well, look at that. Now it's 17.112 sats per VByte. So a lot higher, and the fees are pretty high right now on the blockchain. Let's go over to mempool.space, shocker, and check the fees there and see if they're similar. So again, for a fast transactions, it's around 17 sats per VByte. Okay, here we are at mempool.space, and what do you know? 17 sats per VByte. There you go. That's the current fee. Again, it's pretty high, especially for small amounts of on-chain Bitcoin. Oh, yay, it dropped. And as you extend your time out and go to farther blocks, you can see the fee goes down to 6, 8, 8, 10, 13, etc. The fee was 25 just a few minutes ago, but has dropped a little bit. So right now it's about 13. Keep that in mind. Okay, so to create a partially signed Bitcoin transaction, the first step is to enter a really big command that I've copied and I'm going to paste in here. And if you look, there's a partial Bitcoin address, which we're going to obviously enter a Bitcoin address into. And then right here, it says the number 12. That's the fee that we're going to set. How many sats per VByte do we want to set? Well, 17. Actually, if you remember from mempool, it was around 13 sats per VByte. So we could put something in that range if we wanted to get confirmed quickly, or a little lower for later confirmations. But first, I need to paste an address into this box right here. I'm going to go get an address and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to paste the address into this command, and there we go. I'm going to set the fee here at 14. I'm going to check it real quick to make sure it hasn't changed much. No, it's still at 13. So I'm going to set it at 14. Let's see what that gives us. And we have some other commands here. It says replaceable, which means the fee can be adjusted after we send the transaction. And subtract fee from outputs. That means that the fee comes out of the total amount we're sending. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, we got to specify how much we're going to send. So let's go back to the wallet, and we're going to put the full amount into this spot right here. Here's the wallet, and we're going to copy this full amount and paste it into that command in the console. All right, here we are, and it goes right down here. There we go. Hopefully, this will create a partially signed Bitcoin transaction, and it doesn't. Okay, after some troubleshooting, I have another try here. We've got an address, we've got the amount. I reduced the amount, I reduced the fee, and let's see what happens. Yay, we have a partially signed Bitcoin transaction created. Okay, now we take this ridiculous number, we go over to the terminal, and we have to paste it into another command. Okay, here we are in the terminal, and this command is huge because it includes this really long string we got from the console. All right, let's unlock the device and see what happens. It's not finding the device. I know why. This is what happens when you deal with these little things. There needs to be a colon right here. Web USB, colon, 001, colon 1. Okay, let's try again. Recipient, verify the address. That is correct. How much Bitcoin? Correct. Confirm lock time, total amount, including fee, hold to confirm, and our partially signed transaction is done, signed. But we're not done. We have to take this back to the terminal and send it out for confirmation. And I believe it's all of this data. One more command and we're almost done. Okay, now we take this information and we go back over to Bitcoin Core Console. We finalize the transaction, and then we send it out for confirmation. Let's do that. All right, this is Finalize, partially signed Bitcoin transaction, along with the number that starts with CHN. No other information. It's a really long number. And see what happens when I press enter. And it gives us a hex string, and the transaction is complete. And now it needs to be sent out onto the Bitcoin blockchain. We do that by pasting this number into or after the command send raw transaction. And let's see what happens. And that's it. Oh, when I say that's it, I mean I have been sitting here for about 3 hours to send one transaction. This was really difficult. Let's take this transaction ID, copy it, and go over to mempool.space and see if we can find the transaction. I can paste this in here, and there it is. We have a fee of $1.51, and the transaction is in the first block. Fee rate is 13.7, and hopefully it will work. Okay, wow, that was really, really hard. Congratulations, you just learned how to create and sign Bitcoin transactions like a professional. This setup gives you unprecedented control over your transactions, from precise fee management to enhanced privacy and security. While this process might seem a little more involved than a sort of standard wallet application, each step serves a purpose in making your Bitcoin transactions more secure and sovereign. You're not just sending Bitcoin, you're doing it with bank-grade security and complete control. If you haven't seen our previous video on how to set up a watch-only wallet in Bitcoin Core, shame on you. I'll put a link in the description below for that. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Put your questions in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.